Good evening, YouTube. My name is Hester. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're back, welcome back. Tonight I am, yes, it's evening. If you look behind me, it's pitch dark outside. Tonight I'm getting ready for a big order that I've got for fig jam and Seville Marmalade and ruby grapefruit marmalade. So I'll take you with me tonight just with a preparation of what we've got ready for tomorrow. So I have already got in the pots here. There you've got Seville oranges soaking in the water. You're soaking out for the pectin and obviously the flavor go into the water. Then we've got figs that's got the sugar in. They can macerate overnight and tomorrow morning we just come and stir it up, slowly heat it up and then start boiling. So we've got two pots of each of those coming up. And then on this side, where the preparation is being done, we have got the ruby grapefruits. Good morning. We put these in last night, the Seville, to soak. I'm going to turn them on now. Oh, they look lovely. Looks like there's a lot of pectin in. We'll turn them on now to cook them al dente and then we'll add the sugar and make the Seville marmalade. A lot of people ask me what's the difference between Seville and Rex Union and Navel and Valencia, all the different oranges. Your Rex Union and your Seville, if you cook it, this white pith part, with your Rex Union and your Seville and your grapefruit actually, that goes translucent. Whereas with your other citrus fruit, that white pith part doesn't go translucent. This has been boiling for about 25 minutes now. The Seville tends to be a bit tougher than your other citrus fruit. But it does, the spoon goes through the piece of peel easily. So I do know that they are soft. Now I want to do a pectin test. What you would do, just take normal methylated spirits, put a little bit in a bowl, and then I'll take just a little bit of the juice. Now you must try to not get too much pieces of it in there, pieces of the orange. Let me just get, there you go. You take a little bit of juice, cool it off slightly, and then you pour it in your methylated spirits. Now I don't want to do this over the pot because just now I have a little oopsie. So I'm just going to, bear with me, just move this a little bit. So I've got a little plate here to show you what I mean. I'll swirl this around gently a little bit. And then I'll pour it out on it. Now, there's absolutely no congealing of this. If you look a little bit, there's a little bit, there's a little bit, but it's not congealing at all, which means if you had to just put your sugar in and boil this as a normal marmalade, it won't set up. So I will be adding commercial pectin. You can make your homemade pectin. One day I will make a video to show you because there's two ways you can do it, either with citrus fruit or with Granny Smith apples, which is very nice and rich in pectin. So I'll have to add pectin to this batch. So I'm getting my pectin ready to go into my 2 pots of the Seville marmalade. Now I get my pectin from a place in Johannesburg which is called Linda's Bake, and there it gives you the instruction: 5 milliliters of pectin per 1 kilo of sugar. Now the problem with pectin is if you put it into the pot just like that, it makes clumps, very much like corn flour. You have to mix it with something first. Now I know, once again out of experience, how much I'm going to need for each of these batches, so that'll be about enough. So to prevent clumping, I mix this into the sugar, and then I'll just gradually stir this into the pot. There you go, nicely mixed up. Now I'm going to add it to my oranges. I just need to get it to stop boiling. Give it a stir just to cool it down. Once again, you don't want to put the sugar into a boiling liquid because there is a possibility of crystallization. Then I'll just pour this in while I'm stirring. Then you have to let this stand for a few minutes for the pectin to fully dissolve. I'll stir it until I can feel the sugar is dissolved, and then I'll just let it stand for the pectin to just be an integrated part of it. There you go, my sugar is dissolved, so now it'll just stand. So what'll happen here is I'll let it stand a little bit, clean the sides of the pots. If you want to see how that's done, go and look in my lemon and lime marmalade video. Clean the sides of the pots and get it to a boil. I'll see you guys again later. I just want to show you the difference in the boiling pattern. This is the Seville, between 104 degrees as opposed to figs that's going to be cooked next. The boiling pattern at 107 degrees. It just got a lot more bubbly at 107 degrees. And here's my little test plate. I did it earlier that you can get the angle right here, that you can see. You see, if I push it up, it makes all these little wrinkles. And if you lift it up, it's just like one blob that stays with your finger. Then I know it's at 107 degrees. My test plate shows me that this marmalade is ready to go into the bottles. Something else I want to talk about is the foam. You can see there's like foam on top of the product. Now there's a few ways you can get rid of the foam. And home cooking, the most popular one is you just spread some butter around the edge of the pot, and it breaks the surface tension of the little bubble, so you don't have all that foam on it. I can't use that commercially because number one, you've got to have your ingredients on the label, and I don't want to explain to people why I've got butter in, so I just don't use butter. Margarine does work, it doesn't work as efficiently, and the other reason why I don't put it in is a lot of people are vegan, vegetarian, and I'm assuming it's fruit, they can eat it. So what I do is once I've turned it off, you just stir it gently, and those foam bubbles will break off and you will not have the foam on top anymore. So that's all we do here until we don't have any foam on top. There you go. The foam disappears with a gentle, you don't want to stir it vigorously because then obviously you're going to create bubbles. So you just gently want to stir the bubbles away. I want to show you, this has been cooling down for about 5 minutes now. And if you push it to one side, it makes those nice wrinkles, which also tells me this will set up beautifully in the jar. While I'm doing this, I want to show you something. If you notice, the pieces are all floating on top and all the juice is at the bottom. So when you're bottling marmalade, you must always be aware of that fact that your fruit floats to the top, the juice goes to the bottom. Now it sets up, and if you don't disperse your fruit evenly in your jar in the cooling off process, the fruit will be at the top of the jar and the gel at the bottom. So you want to turn your jars periodically until they don't move around anymore. Obviously, I'll show you that part of the process too. I've already sterilized. The lapis has been sterilized. I'll put some boiling water on it again. This has been sterilized. So what I do now, I've got boiling water where my lids are in. And I will fill the jug with a bit of boiling water. And then my soup ladle has now been in the boiling water, and this goes on the lapis. And I don't know how, but Sandiwe puts her hands in this boiling water to use the lapis to clean the jars. For the marmalade, I don't use the funnel because it just pours nicely, and I've got better control on what part fruit goes in and what doesn't go in. Got the dry sterilized jars out of the oven, and I'm going to just give you a little bit of a view this way. Just get this thing moved. When I'm, oh, this is so beautiful. It's got the most beautiful wrinkles on top. When you're scooping your jam into your marmalade into a jar, don't just scoop from the top, because then you'll only be scooping the fruit. So give it a stir to mix the gel part and the fruit part, and then you scoop it into your jar, into your jug, sorry. And then I also try, as you scoop, places with just the juice at the bottom opens up. So you want to balance the fruit and the liquid part. And then you just pour them in the jars. And if they do that, you want your spoon, which has obviously been in the boiling water. And there you go. And I fill it up right to the top. As it cools down, it will, number one, suck in the lid, and it goes, the level drops a bit. So now some people would scoop out these little bubbles that you get while pouring. I don't do that because we will be turning these around to disperse the fruit evenly into the gel, and that will make those bubblekies go away. told you guys, if you do marmalade, the fruit floats to the top and the gel is at the bottom. So what we'll be doing with all of the jars now is we'll be just flipping them around. And then what happens, I'll give this one a little shake. You can see the fruit pieces moves to the top. And then 10 minutes later we'll flip it back again. Ow, it's getting hot. We'll flip it back again, and then you'll have the fruit pieces dispersed very nicely in the jar. So here Tandiwe is just giving them a light shake, turning them over to get the fruit dispersed. And people, those jars are like probably around 90-95 degrees Celsius, and she just works with it with her bare hands. Prior to working for me, Tandiwe worked at a pie factory where they made pies and vet koek. Vet koek is like a bread dough that you deep fry, basically like a donut, but just not sweet. And fudge. So all of those things are very hot, and Tandiwe's just got the hands that can do this. Doesn't it burn you, Tandiwe?
No, it's warm. It's like...
It's just warm. We've got so many laughs in this kitchen. It's fun working here. There you go. And in 10 minutes or so we'll come and turn them back onto their bottom sides, and then they should be nice. Thank you, Tandiwe. So that gave us not a very lot of jars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28 jars of Seville Marmalade. I did mention earlier on that the different citrus fruit gives you different end result. Now, the Seville, you could see when I had it against the light, it's literally basically see-through. The fruit pieces itself cooks translucent. Now, with the Rex Union Marmalade, you've got the same, that your fruit is basically translucent. There's lots of fruit in there, it just doesn't look like it because they're translucent. The mixed citrus marmalade, it's got lemon, orange and grapefruit in. It looks like it got less fruit in than it should, but once again your grapefruit cooks translucent. So here you can only see there's some lemon pieces and some orange pieces. So that doesn't cook, the pith part doesn't cook translucent. Just plain lemon marmalade. Cooks nice, but you can see the pieces. And then the orange marmalade, these were navel oranges. Also you can see the pith part. Now that's the one thing I personally prefer, a lot of fruit in my marmalades, so that's the way I cook them. I sometimes do get customers that says they want a marmalade that doesn't have as much fruit in. Then I'll make them a custom batch, but they've got to take a whole pot, which is either 8 to 10 jars depending on the product. Thank you for spending the day with me with my Seville Marmalade cooking. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, then you can hear or see when I upload a new video. And we'll be back cooking up some more sweetness. Bye.